the Amerikaner podcast. A look behind the scenes of Europe's most important Western equestrian event. Talks with trainers, organizers and helpers.
The profile. Your name.
Pat Parelli.
Your nickname.
Mr. Pat.
Your birthday.
St. Patrick's Day.
Your job.
I am a professional horseologist.
Your hobby.
Guitars and aviation and golf.
Your special sign or mark.
Keep it natural.
Your relationship status.
Am I married?
Yes. Okay. Children.
Yes, I have two. One daughter. She has two daughters, so I have two granddaughters, and I have a handicapped son who's 42 years old.
Okay. What's your gratifying about your job?
I love the smell of success. And when my students and their horses start synchronizing together and start having harmony, then that's success, and that is worth more than all the money in the world.
Your idol.
My idol. I would have to say that it really is Ronnie Willis. He really taught me what Tom Dorrance and Ray Hunt meant. And he's somebody I really, really looked up to.
Your special horse.
Magic. And she lived till she was 30, and when she was 28, I think, we cloned her. And we now I have a new favorite horse, Magic's Mirror.
What's your favorite quote?
I think it's the good, better, best, never let it rest, get your good, better, and your better, best.
Okay, I think you have to explain it quickly.
Good, better, do something good, get it better, do it the best you can. But don't ever rest, keep doing better. Get your good, better, and your better, best.
Okay. The or question. So whiskey or beer?
Whiskey.
Coffee or tea?
Coffee.
Sweet or salty?
Yes.
Mare or stud?
Mare.
Or gelding?
At that point, it doesn't matter. Stallions, I've had enough stallions.
The forest or the sea?
The forest.
Okay. I want to quickly go back to your special horse because you said you cloned her.
Mm-hmm.
Your magic number 2 is exactly like magic number 1.
Very, very close. As close as the same color hair, the same white mark, maybe just a little bit bigger, but she thinks like her. She, the same things that she was afraid of, she's afraid of. The same things she's not afraid of, she's not afraid of. So that part is good, and her muscles feel like her, and she even smells like her.
Okay.
And so it's really like I have a hard time to remind myself I'm not writing magic. I'm writing Magic's Mirror.
How does this idea start to clone her?
It was a gift from the company who did it, Viagen.
Mm-hmm.
And they came up with the idea, and I said, wow. And they said, you and Magic are so famous, they would like to then be able to advertise that we cloned this famous horse.
Okay.
So it was a great gift. But it would be like over $100,000 to do one cloning.
Wow.
Yeah, so that was a nice gift.
That's a perfect gift.
Yeah.
Wow. So I would like to go back into your childhood. How did you grow up?
We lived on the east side of the Bay Area, San Francisco. And what that means is San Francisco is as far west as you can go. So as you go across the bay, there were several communities there. And though they were more poor communities, but there were horses everywhere. People had them in their backyard. There were fields with 10, 12 horses in it, just everywhere, horses everywhere. It was a very agriculturally based area. And we even had a school farm when I went to high school, and we could ride the horse to
The school.
if we wanted, yeah. And we had our cattle there for and our sheep and our pigs, all the farm animals. And so I was really lucky to be in an area. Now you wouldn't see a horse, you wouldn't see a field. It's all houses now. It's just completely covered. And I drove through there a few years back and couldn't even find my way anymore. And so yeah, I was raised there, and I was very lucky because that area was Livermore was at that time called the cowboy capital of the world. More world champion rodeo cowboys came out of there than any other place. Then it moved about 80 miles to the east to a place called Oakdale. Now the cowboy capital of the world is in Stephenville, Texas. Okay, so but when I was young, and so we had an event there, the Grand Nationals in San Francisco every year, and it was a rodeo event and then a horse show event, a rodeo event for 2 weeks. And I went since I was 10 years old as many times as I could, and I fell in love with the rodeo, but I also fell in love with the different Western disciplines. I started seeing reining cow horses, started seeing cutting horses, and started seeing all the different kind of things, including all of the English horses. And but the first week was all English and gaited horses, and then the second week was all Western. And because I got to see all the different kind of horses, and I got to see the rodeo events, and by the way, 10,000 people every night, every single night.
Wow.
For 2 weeks, and two Saturdays had matinees. So this is a big thing, and this was the last rodeo before the national finals. So all the guys who were trying to make the top 15, of course, were there. So there were so many legendary people in our area. For example, Dr. Billy Linfoot. Dr. Billy Linfoot was the first 9 and 10 go polo player of the United States. And he was a wild horse tamer. And as I found out many, many years later, he was our veterinarian, first of all. But what I found out many, many years later is that he was a student of Tom Dorrance. And I found that out through another legend, Johnny Hawkins, who was the first man inducted into the Hall of Fame in rodeo. And he was my teacher and one of my best friends. And matter of fact, his ashes are buried on my ranch in Colorado, scattered. And then there was Ed Connell, who wrote the book Bridle Horses of the West and Hackamore Reinsman. And I got to ride with him for a month when I was about 16. And then there was Freddie Ferreira, which was his best friend, who was the Diablo Valley Trapper. All of these people, Tom Dorrance lived just an hour or so away. His brother, Bill Dorrance, had a big ranch in Salinas that was maybe an hour and 15 minutes away. So there was all of these legends, plus every year in October we would see, the last 2 weeks of October, we would go to the Grand Nationals and see all these world champion cowboys. We would see all these world champion reining horses, cutting horses. And it was just something, as kids, we, some kids want to grow up to be soccer players. Their heroes are soccer players. Ours were the cowboys and the rein cow horse trainers and that sort of thing. So when I was 16, I got a job with a world champion named Harry Rose. And he was not nice to horses. He was too tough on horses. But he won several world championships. He had sons of Doc Barr that he trained, and he was on and on. And he did cutting and rein cow horse. So, it was pretty obvious by then that, yes, I wanted to have a rodeo career and a career training horses. And then when I started winning in rodeo, people started asking me to teach them. So then I ended up having a rodeo school. So I had it for 3 years. I had a rodeo school, produced 3 different world champions. And I was in Modesto, California. And then when I started really learning how to be a horseman, because I was 5 years the apprentice with Troy Henry, who was still to this day one of the greatest horsemen I ever knew. And we were sending about 25 horses a year to Germany. We were training, and to Brazil and to Australia. And so we were one of the first ones, through a man named Bill Verdugo, was one of the first ones that were shipping horses, quarter horses, and horses that could slide and spin and turn, and pleasure horses. So once I found out, I found out I really wanted to teach people. I really enjoyed learning to do it, what Mr. Henry taught me. How to do everything from a foal all the way up to a teenage horse that was still, he had a mare named Joy that was 16 years old. She could slide 75 feet. That's 25 meters.
Wow.
Yeah, it was wow.
Yeah.
And so that's where this all started. When he passed away, then I was asked to come down to Hollywood, which is in Southern California, and do a seminar for this veterinary group. And I said, oh, okay, and they're clients, so I did. And I found out right then and there that was March 1st, 1982. And it's been 43 years since then. And I've presented in front of over 2 million people, including President Reagan, the Queen of England, Tony Robbins, Tom Selleck, on and on and on. And when I see people getting this look on their face like, oh, would have never thought of that. Mm-hmm. And because horses are so different from people, they are prey animals and we are predators. They are herd animals. We're pack animals. We want to gang up on things. They want to stick together to live together. Then we are primates, so we're monkey see, monkey do learners. And it's natural for us to lean and pull and grip and grapple, okay? Mm-hmm. And when I can see people get a new idea in their mind, it's probably the same idea they would have had if they were a child. Because humans are natural till we're 12. Then we turn into practicing adults. And an adult is a human being who practices making simple things difficult. And then they write rules about it. And they want everybody else to hurry up and do it just like they did. And so what the gift that horses give us is that they cause us to really think differently, to solve puzzles, to think about their perspective. Why are they aware or afraid of something? Why a mailbox? What's we think a mailbox, and the horse is like, oh my God, it's going to eat me. Mm-hmm. So it's we all know that there's something special about horses, and once you get the needle in, you're addicted for the rest of your life. And the word I love is equus, which to me means equal us, not our best friend, equal us. And then we can be partners, but we have to give them what they need, so they can give us what we want. They want safety, comfort, play, and food in that order. They need to feel safe, so that means you have to know what you're doing. It makes them feel safe. You're a leader. Mm-hmm. They want to feel comfortable. So what they really want to do is they want to, for example, if a horse is been in the stall, he wants to move his feet. So he'll feel comfortable if he can move. And then after he moves, he's like, now I'd like to stop and get some rest. And so if we learn to play with that nature and give them comfort for going, give them comfort for stopping, then pretty soon the horse just starts a conversation with you, and this whole thing just starts just building on itself, and it's fabulous. And then they want to play. They have a strong play drive. Do you know that dolphins have to be played with at least 6 times a day?
No.
Like dolphins in captivity, they have to get up at 3 o'clock in the morning and go play with the dolphins, or they go crazy and they get violent. Mm-hmm. And today, people that have horses that misbehave, it's because they're highly bred, they're overfed, and totally under-exercised mentally, emotionally, and physically. Mm-hmm. And so they're having all this horsepower boiling up, and they try to stop the play instead of learning to use the play. And you can do it on the ground, you can do it at liberty, you can do it on their back also if you're, kind of understand. And so we have to manage our energy through time and space to manage their energy through time and space, and always be the ambassador of yes. Like, for example, yes, you can run fast, but we have to do it in a small circle. Okay? Something like that. And so.
But it sounds so fantastic. But I just want to go back, because when you saw this event in front of your parents, or where you grew up in the hometown, you thought straight that you want to start this program, or the Parelli program, or how does it come?
No, that was after I started doing some clinics, okay, which nobody was doing clinics except for Ray Hunt. It was just Ray Hunt and myself. And so, okay, that's nice. I was helping people and stuff, but it was always confusing, and I didn't know where to start. And and I used to say the advanced group is in the afternoon, and the intermediate group is in the morning. And guess what? The people who said I'm intermediate were way more advanced than the people who said they were advanced. So it was always like, oh my gosh. So I started then thinking, how could I do this so that it kind of, everything fits together nice? And it was easy. I was in martial arts, and I just followed what they do, have levels. And so that's where that all came from, is the program came from me. And then I started going, okay, well, what do we need to know first about horses? We need to know how to move a horse's energy around while we're on the ground. Then we need to learn how to bend them, use lateral flexion, and certain ways to mount and certain ways to be able to stop a horse. Those are the first things in the first level that are really imperative that we know. And it's amazing how many people are riding horses and don't know to bend them with one rein if they get out of control. I've seen many dressage horses get upset and run out the arena with the riders pulling back on both reins. So then I started going, okay, what do people need to do? Don't lunge your horse. So what else can we do? And then, because the guy, Mr. Henry, who taught me, said, you will stand still and that horse will go around in a circle. And if he doesn't, then you do something. Okay? He called it neutral. So I thought, well, that's one thing we can do. But then people had trouble after my clinics to put the horse in the trailer. So I started going, well, now we have to get him to squeeze. So I started coming up with the squeeze. I said, but first let's get him to jump over the barrels and go over the tarp. Then he'd go right into the trailer. And then I started going, but if you teach them to go sideways, they'll actually learn to squeeze easier. And then it just kind of reverse engineered itself. And next thing I knew, there was 7 things you should do with a horse. 1 for confidence, 2 for respect, and the others for positive patterns. Straight lines, the yo-yos, forward and backwards like a slide stop, circles, lateral, and constriction. And if you do all 7 of those things on the ground and in the saddle, all of a sudden it's like if you could drive your car and every time you drove it got better. If you do what I'm trying to share with everyone, your horse will get better and better and better and better and better and better and better. Mm-hmm. And that's the cool thing. It's just like it just keeps getting better.
Mm-hmm. But you also showed horses, or not, when you were younger, or now, even now?
Well, I not only showed horses, I showed mules. I was the founding president of the American Mule Association. I've had 12 world champions. I showed a mule at the Snaffle Bit Futurity in Reno, Nevada in 1978 or 9 or something like that. And she had the 3rd highest reining mark out of 375 horses.
Why a mule?
I was didn't have enough money for a horse and too proud to ride a cow.
Okay.
No, it was just, I thought, if I could learn to train mules, I bet horses would be easy. And I was so right.
Really?
Once I learned to train mules, like, okay, now I get it. Because horses never forget, but they often forgive. Mules don't forget or forgive. So you really have to do it right, but you really have to get them to want to be with you, to like you. And then I was showing rein cow horses at the time, and started then into cutting horses. And now Had several championships in both rein, cow, horse, and cutting, and it's what I still do for my hobby. That's my, I don't train horses for the public for those events. I train my own horses. I take my handicapped son, who's now won 5 championships against able-bodied people, and he won the first handicap. They call it, what do they call it? Not para. Anyway, there's I can't even remember the name of it. Anyway, he won it was in Tampa, Florida. He won the very first handicap reining in the world.
Cool.
And so that's our, kind of our sport. And plus, I have resident students at my program or my campus, because we have 3 programs. We have the partnership program, which is for leisure riders and a good basic for everything. And then we have the Parelli Performance program, which is what I showed the other night here at Equitana. And then we have the Parelli Professional program to teach people how to be professional coaches and how to be professional clinicians and how to be professional horse trainers. And we even teach them business skills. And so I have 3 different programs, okay? And so my team competes when they're with me there, but I have now in Europe, I think over 20 of my professionals are now competing in different English and Western events.
It's most of your program is online, or is that also a physical way that you meet meet each other? Sorry.
Well, in this digital world we live in, I used to sell videos. Nobody has a video player anymore.
I know.
I still sell videos, but the videos come to you digitally. Okay, and matter of fact, in June of this year, 2025, we will have an AI program that translates the voice.
Oh, that's cool.
In, I think, 43 different languages.
Wow.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we're doing, German, French,
English,
Dutch, Spanish.
All languages.
Yeah.
Yeah. Super.
Anyway, yeah. So it's a program that we've purchased, and it's taking all of that. So everything I'm doing, it'll look like I'm speaking German.
This is really incredible.
It even changes.
Cool.
I guess it even changes the lips and stuff, so that it doesn't look funny, So, our program starts online, and then I have 150 instructors worldwide, certified instructors. There's about 300 people that say they're Parelli instructors or teach natural horsemanship, and they just copied, but they're not certified by me. But about 70 of those instructors are here in Europe, all scattered around. So then what I advise everybody do is start online, get the basics, then go get some help with the instructors, and then come ride with me when I show up here in Europe, or come ride with me at Parelli Landing in Johnsonville, South Carolina.
Yes. So you moved into into a new facility.
Yes. So 30 years ago, I was living in a motorhome, and I needed to stop sometime, And I've been to Australia 41 times. I was going to Australia twice a year. It was just travel. So I said, I want to find a place in the mountains where in the summertime I can stop for 3 months, an eagle's nest, people can come ride with me, and it was great. And we did that. Then suddenly we found that there was this wonderful place called Ocala, Florida. And so we went in the wintertime, but we were moving 40 horses back and forth, sometimes more.
Big challenge.
It's a huge job. It really takes a month out of your life.
I believe that.
Because you have to move not only the horses, you have to move all the stuff. You have to get ready. You have to get it there and reorganize, and on and on and on. So finally, I think COVID was a big deterrent toward people going. They couldn't go to the campuses, so there we were, and it was kind of a little bit hard, kind of bring it back up to the level it was before. So we said, what? Instead of this, summer in Colorado and winter in Florida, which is great, we found one place that has 4 seasons, And we can stay there all year long. It's in Johnsonville, South Carolina, not far from Myrtle Beach. And the great thing is people from Europe or all over the world can fly to Charlotte or Atlanta and take a 30-minute flight and be at the airport next to us.
Oh, perfect.
And it's really, it is really perfect. And we call it Parelli Landing. It's the Harvard of horsemanship. And our purpose is to produce professional and competitive superstars for the future, like you saw the other night.
Yes. Yes.
And I could even turn you into a superstar. Because I saw you ride. You're pretty good already.
Thank you, Pat.
I could take you to the next level.
Yeah, but now first we do all the podcast and Americana stuff. But I love to ride, to join and to fly over and see your Parelli land and ride with you.
Yeah.
Do you have something what you really regret in life?
Nothing.
Nothing.
I get up early and I stay up late. And I try to help as many horses and as many people as possible. I have no regrets. And I got nominated again. I'm the president again, 43 years in a row as the president of the Too Much Fun Club. I love to have fun.
This is good.
Fun with horses, fun with people, playing music, dancing, just fun life. And it's fun to help people too.
Always when I meet you, I really love that you're very happy, and you have a very happy aura, which is surrounding you. And how important is the mindset, your personal mindset? Because you said Tony Robbins. You met him.
Oh yeah, no, he came and spent 3 days at my house.
Really?
Yeah, at our farm in our facility in Florida. So here's what I think is the secret. Is number one is you have to have the 7 balances in life, and the first balance you have to have is passion. And so many people say, I will do my passion on the weekend, but I'm going to work for money during the week. I think it's a mistake. If you're passionate about what you do for a living, you are always on vacation. But then you have to have dedication to your passion. You have to dedicate. You have to constantly, rethink it, understand it deeper, understand it better, understand it quicker. And then you have to take care of your health, your mental, emotional, physical health. So that's the first 3 balances. Then after that, spirituality is a pretty big thing. And whatever that means to you or to who's listening. Then family. Family is so important. And family doesn't just mean the ones you're genetically tied to. Family means anyone who would love and support you no matter what. They're your family. And then finances are important. There's no romance without finance. And the last one, fun. You got to have fun. Get it done with a bit of fun. So that's it. Passion, dedication, health, spirituality, family, finances, and fun. And if you can balance those 7 things, it's pretty easy to be happy then. So
do you have sometimes people who are not very involved or into horses that they come and ask you for an advice or for an help?
Yeah, it's interesting. People, they love the smell of success. And so successful people have a special smell or aura or something. And so it trickles over into any endeavor. And so I was one of the first graduates of Michael Gerber's business development program. And he said to us on the first day, raise your hand if you think you have an unusual business. And so I raised my hand, and some other guy who made skateboard wheels or something, and somebody else, I don't know, made pickles or something, pretzels probably. And so he let us all explain what we do, why it's so unusual. He goes, "You're wrong. You're all in the people business." Okay, and so that I was attracted to him because of his special energy he had. And that's the biggest thing is the laws of attraction will lead you to the best. And if you study with the best, you'll forget the rest. And then you if you want to soar like an eagle, don't fly with turkeys. Mm-hmm. And so many people, I don't know what it is, they just kind of got friends in lower places rather than trying to have, associate themselves and surround themselves with people who've got great aspirations and great energy.
Yeah, I think we get taught a lot to think smaller compared to think big and follow your dreams.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I think so.
I think it's
So maybe that's my job on earth, is to help people to think big.
Yes.
To follow their dreams.
Very good. Yes. Do you think something changed in the Western scene compared to the time when you start and what you see now, especially? I mean, also the sport, but also the
leisure riders.
The leisure riders. Yeah.
First of all, the answer is yes. When we were kids, or when I was young, and even through my young adult life, kind of brag like, I've never taken a riding lesson, and a professional would probably look and say, I can tell, So I think today people are more apt to get an education, whether they get it online or so I see it everywhere that people are learning how to not only ride better, but how to communicate and negotiate with their horses. The horse that doesn't like to go in the trailer, the horse that's scared of a mud puddle, or the horse that doesn't like water, or the horse that doesn't like plastic, whatever. That you can go on, on your YouTube or something, and you can find some information about those things. So I think the colloquial shroud is broken. We're not in a straitjacket anymore just because where we live. That phone could give you anything. If you wanted to see what Chinese people are doing with horses, you could just Google it, and you'd see it right now. Okay, if you wanted to see what, like when I was young, California Rain Cow Horse was only in California, period.
Yeah.
And it was mainly right where I lived, like within about 200 miles. It was a little pocket. It wasn't. Now it's all over the United States. Now it's coming over here. Now it's in Australia. It's big. And that's because they can see it. You can see that, and people, the laws of attraction will, when they see something they like. I think one time you told me that you came to Equitana and you saw Western riders, and you were like, I'm gonna
do that.
Buy jeans and get rid of these jodhpurs. Jeans instead of jodhpurs. It's like that's what I wanted to do,
Exactly.
But if you hadn't came here and got an education and an awareness and saw something in the laws of attraction, so you went, yeah, that's what I want to do. That's me. That's more me. Mm-hmm. So same thing. I always tell people that I would have loved to have gone to the Olympics in 3-day eventing. But it's because I won't wear the jodhpurs. I would have been good at it, I think, because I'm a pretty brave rider.
It's a couple of years ago you told me that you're a bit worried because you see more and more robo-riders. Mm-hmm. What do you mean with that?
Okay, there's 3 things that we all should have with our horses: bonding, obedience, and exuberance. But when you just go bonding, and bonding, obedience, obedience. Okay. Well, actually, any 3 of those. If you do bonding, just
those are too much.
Yeah, too much sugar, too much cookies, too much carrots. No, it's not. It's the one in the middle. So it takes all 3. And so what I see is that the sports have become very particular about, every single. You can just get 2 of these little things and you go from first down to 4th place like that because, the horse's ear went back or he flicked his tail or the lead was just off by, whatever it is. Horse loses balance a little bit at the end of a slide stop, whatever it is. So now it's like let's train them more like, it feels like people are training them more like robots. I don't want you to think, and breeding them even to horses that don't think. Cutting horses, on the other hand, have to think. Okay, and so it's to me, foundation before specialization for horses and humans. People need to get a good foundation, the basics on horse psychology. Basically, they need to know how horses feel, think, act, and play. And we're not motorcycles, okay? But the horses need a good foundation, no matter if they're going to be a race horse, a jumping horse, a cutting horse, a reining horse. It doesn't matter, a roping horse, whatever. The more big foundation we give them, the better, longer they'll last, and the better they'll get at their specialization. But so many people are such in a hurry to hurry up and get that horse to do what he's bred to do, that they just go right straight down a line. And most trainers have a cookie cutter program. If the horse doesn't fit the thing, the horse is no good. Mm-hmm. So there was a lady, an Italian lady named Mrs. Montessori. Have you heard of her?
Mm-hmm.
And the Montessori schools is every student will get what they need. Mm-hmm. We will go slow in these areas for this student, but fast in this area, or not. We're not going to put them in a group and everybody has to go on the curve. So this is more, it's what horses need, same. And so our program is like the Montessori of horsemanship.
Mm-hmm. Very good explained.
Yeah.
Do you have, what would you like to advise to a very enthusiastic young trainer when you see, for example, a reining trainer who's very into his business?
Step one, remember you're in the people business. Mm-hmm. Step two, people love trainers who show compassion. Number three, in order to really last a long time, you've got to have a better basics. So many times when I lived in Ocala, 80,000 horses in one area. 80,000 of every kind.
Yeah.
And you know how many professional trainers called me up because they couldn't get their horse to go in the horse trailer?
No.
They have no idea. They're great riders. They can win in jumping. I had a gold medalist, Okay, I had to help him with his horse because it was running off. It's just amazing. They're very good in their sport.
Yeah.
And so, first of all, get a good basis and then cross-train. Mm-hmm. Ride dressage. I mean, you don't have to compete in dressage, but know how to ride in a 20 by 60 meter arena, and how to do the geometry, and how to do every basic maneuver. All of my students, we call it a precision pin. Matter of fact, we call it Pat Parelli's precision pin. Okay, it's to be precise, but learn to jump, learn to do driving horses. Get a basics, and then the other thing is that have the other, like what I'm doing now is I'm training trainers, okay, and so now I'm providing a space for people who want to become Western performance trainers, okay, either assistant trainers. That most of the time it starts off as an assistant trainer. But also those that want to become Parelli professionals. If you want to make a lot more money, be a Parelli professional, because everybody wants to get a Parelli lesson. So we have 150 instructors, and I need like 450. I could use more that really know, and we teach people to know what they're doing. But I think the thing is integrity is so important to, and it's so, be truth, transparency, and trust with your clients. And, like what we do in our program is we have a daily record. Mm-hmm. We take videos every week. We send them to the owners, and every month at the end, we show them what days we rode, how long we rode or trained, and what we did. And then we give them a report. We give them a written report on how they did that month. And then we give them report cards that says, in this area, this is how they've improved.
And that's a good idea.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so that's professional. It's like if you go to the doctor, they're going to do an analysis, and they're going to do prognosis, and and diagnostics, then a prognosis, then a prescription. And so that's how professional people, in other industries. And so I think the horse industry needs to to step up. So that's why I teach in my school is the 5 business pillars. You know, you got to have your products and services. Then you got to have your human capital. Who's going to do the work? Then you got to have your finances from pricing to profit. Then you got to have your marketing and sales program. Then you have to have your IT integration, so that you can do good records. We have a thing called Stable Secretary, and every day you just put a couple of notes in the thing, and it tells what you did with the horse and which horse and who did what, and did the horse need see a veterinarian or a farrier, whatever all the things are that happen. So the IT is important too, so that you can keep good records and be honest and have finances, get your all your finance stuff together. There's good programs out there that can help do that. So yeah.
I have a question, because yesterday I met Stefan Baumgartner and he asked me if I see the horse riding industry in the next 20 years still going on like it is doing now, because he said that he got more afraid that we get paranoid about riding a horse in one point in the future. What is your opinion about it? I hope I explained it right.
Perfect.
Okay.
He asked me the same question.
Really? And what was your answer? Because I'm very curious about it.
There's only 2 kinds of people in the whole world. Horse lovers and the other kind. There will always be horse lovers. It's events like this. It's things on YouTube, the good things on YouTube, that cause people to go, yeah, horses, that's what I want. Western, that's what I want. Yeah. You know what I mean? Yes. Or this breed or that breed or English or whatever. Okay? And so I believe in the laws of attraction, and I think somehow, some way that people will, it may go down. I mean, first of all, you have to say, is it going down in numbers or is it going down in percentage? This is getting more and more and more people, not less and less and less. So maybe it's doing a little bit of both. But I think horses are always going to be something. But, today it's an expensive endeavor to own a horse.
Yes.
It's not, you can't be a kid with barely making money enough to pay the rent and own a horse, or maybe a family that just have the babies. And, I think I think that all the things that are happening are still what are keeping people to dream about horses anyway. And if they're dreaming about horses, then they're gonna find the time to take the steps to get there. And but I do agree with Stefan that the plastic poison, I call it, the cell phone and the iPads and all that stuff, tablets are, the kids today, they got fast fingers and slow bodies. Dude, they don't climb. They should be out there climbing trees and catching lizards and playing with chickens and dogs and sheep and cats and all that kind of stuff. But
yeah, we have right now. It's not just the plastic. We have right now a funny movement with the hobby horsing stuff, especially in Germany. It's really. I like it to see kids playing with that. I really like it because I think it's. I used to play it when I was young.
Yeah, me too.
But it's funny when you see all of a sudden adults and
The adults are doing the hobby horse now?
Yes.
Oh my gosh, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
I was
at
Americana.
It's a big deal, even in different parts of Europe, that they do it with jumping and...
Yeah. I saw a video of some lady. It's really crazy.
And they do it professional.
Yeah, but you know what is...
and they tell you how you should...
sit and...
Yeah.
It's shoulders this way, that way, yeah. So the good part about that is that maybe it's not a real horse, but it's still
a kind of horse.
It's still horses. They're still thinking about horses. And guess what? There's the real thing is what they really want. So at least they're doing something that's the imitation horse, but at least it goes there. So,
but still, to smell a horse is still lets my heart beating faster because it's so magical. A horse is so
there's just nothing like
beautiful.
it. Yeah, they smell so good. They feel so good. They think. Just everything about them is give you the life.
You travel a few times around the world and to different exhibitions and places. Do you have a few exhibitions or events what you really like? Or where you would say that was very special?
Well, of course, Ekotana is always been. I've been here. Ralph Kruber brought me here, because Jean-Claude Diesely told him he should bring me here.
Really?
Yes. So that was, and then your event, the Americana, is. I tell everybody in America, it's the world's largest Western horse show. It really is.
The world.
In the world. There's no other horse show like that has all the different. Yeah, there's the snaffle bit futurity, and there's the reining futurity, and there's, the cutting futurity and stuff like that. But not all the events like you have. And then also all of the other things that go with it, the saloon, the hobby horse, all of that. So I really love that. It's a great event. I love going to the cutting futurity. I love going to the NFR, National Finals Rodeo. Mm-hmm. Ty Murray is a good friend of mine, so sometimes I go with him to the bull riding or something. And all the futurity. I've been to the reining futurity, and I've got a app on my phone that is I can watch all the big events, derbies and whatever, on live, and so I really keep track of all the different kind of Western sports. I've been to the Kentucky Derby twice. That was big. I think 160,000 people at one race to watch one race. But I went with friends that had horses in the race. And I think I enjoy events that motivate people, inspire people. So when I can be a part of that, that's pretty gratifying, because that's what I'm here for, to share what has been shared with me. So I enjoy that. But you know what? I tell people I love to stay home until I get a little itch to travel, and I like to scratch the itch till I get a little bit sweet for the barn, ready to head home. I like
good. Yeah. Are you very thankful for something?
The attitude of gratitude is what I live by. I'm grateful for. I had wonderful parents. I've got a wonderful sister. I've got a wonderful wife. I've got wonderful life. I've got wonderful horses. I have this new place now, which is the. It's just. I just don't know how to tell you. It's when we first drove in, it was just like, oh my God, how could we find this place? It was like the perfect little diamond. I think just the attitude of gratitude. I'm grateful for all the people that are interested in natural horsemanship, and I'm particularly grateful for the people that are in my program, and the people that help me, my team, the teachers. So I've got everything to be grateful for.
Super.
And friends like you also.
Pat, this is just a fantasy question. If you could go to a cross where you see on the other side of the street, you see the Pat Parelli was 18 years young, not old, young, and you just would meet each other, what would you advise? Would you advise something, or would you just smile and say, keep going? Or
I'd just say, go faster, bigger.
Okay.
Go bigger, faster. Come on. What's holding you back? I sometimes I kick myself because I like to rope, but I should have roped more. I like to play guitar. I should have played guitar more. I love to swim. I should swim more. So yeah, it's just I'd say, come on, buddy. Life's you only live once. You only die once, so you might as well live the whole life and live it. So that's because when you're young, I felt like I was kind of timid and not too smart for my pants, and I think I would have been and tried to. Here's what I wish. I wish that when I was 18, I could go to a Harvard of horsemanship like I'm now providing for these young people. That's what I wish. That's what I was looking for. Luckily, when I was 25 or 6 or something, I ran into Mr. Henry, and then I was with him for 5 years. Okay? But I would have rather had that 5 years from 18 to 23 than from, 25 or 6 till 30. And that's probably the only thing I wish I could have done. And then when I was there, I would have swam more, played more guitars, learned to play golf, and flown airplanes, and all the other things I love to do. I would have done all that more.
Why golf? What's so fascinating about golf?
My father got his first horse when he was 76.
His first horse?
But he played golf every day.
Okay.
So I said, okay, if you're going to do, and he came out to the stable every day. And I said, all right, if he's going to do something I have been doing, I'm going to do something he does. So I did. And then there was a program called Natural Golf. And so I found out about that. And it's a real simple, somebody made a program just like mine. It's real simple. And I learned how to do that. And for some reason, it's an interesting thing to learn how to and I like it when I walk and I can see how the ground is this way or that way, and I can think about things. And yeah, it's got 4 different areas, like with horses. You've got 2 on the ground and 2 in the saddle. Well, you got 2 long games and 2 short games. So you got to hit the ball way down there with the driver. Then you got to use your long irons. Then you got to start using the shorter irons, trying to go, I need to go 30 meters, not 50 meters. Or I need to go 32 meters or whatever. And then you got to putt it. So it's 4 different ways that you have to be skilled. Okay? And that's what I found is like, well, this is just like horsemanship. You've got to get good at all of those things, not just hit the ball a long ways. You got to be able to also have precision. So yeah, it's fun. I'll take you sometime.
Yes,
yeah.
Sounds like fun.
It can be fun. Yeah.
But you mentioned just the last question, because I read it anywhere. You also did bull riding or not?
Bronc riding.
Bronc riding.
Yeah, I rode bulls a little bit when we first started, and then I went to a rodeo school. And this is where I met this Johnny Hawkins, who was the world 63 world champion and first man in the Hall of Fame.
Okay.
And we all rode bucking barrels and played around with all that stuff when we were kids. And I went there with 5 or 6 others, and they all fell off. And I came out and stayed on and was spurring. And the guy that picked me up off there said, "Wow, how long you been doing that?" I said, "That was my first time." He said, "Come here. Come, let me help you." And so I was in his rodeo school, and I rode over 200 horses under his thing, and I won the first 3 rodeos I went to.
Wow.
And I was the Rookie of the Year in 1972. So yeah, then I found out many, many years later, when Johnny Hawkins was in his 80s, that he was a Tom Dorrance student. So now all of a sudden I'm going, no wonder I liked him. No wonder I liked Tom Dorrance. No wonder I liked Dr. Billy Linfoot. No wonder all these laws of attraction had been and connections had been connecting. But again, I've always been attracted to people that kind of wear white hats rather than the black hats. Like, the good guys and the bad guys. I don't mean it, the color of you have a nice brown hat, but I'm not referring. I mean, metaphysically, I guess, or the people that are doing things with horses and for horses, or people that do things with and for people. I've always been attracted to that, and I found out the more you give, the more you get, and so I've been around those kind of people, and that's what to me what really makes the world a wonderful place, because there's only two kinds of people in that perspective, and that's givers and takers. So, givers know the more you give, the more you get, and takers think the quicker you take, the more you're going to get. And unfortunately, that's the negative side of the human being, can be that way. So.
We talked yesterday about it, that you might plan to come to the Americana also for showing at the Americana.
Yeah, well, I'd have to have a special horse. If I showed, it would either be a cutting horse or a rein cow horse. Those are the
cow horse.
Yeah, that was my special event. I luckily showed in 1976. I won the first go round in the fence work at the Snaffle Bit Futurity, and once I got that bug, that was it. There's nothing like going down the fence.
Nothing.
Yeah, and even the other night in my exhibition I did here, I opened him up. I said, "Let's go, come on."
Yeah, so we would love to see you, to welcome you at the Americana, of course.
All right, well, I'll see if I can put it on my goal list, okay?
Okay,
yeah.
Super. Thank you so much that you took your time for this very nice conversation here.
Well, and thank you for doing all the work that you do for Western sports.
It's my pleasure.
And I see it. It's your passion. I see it in everything about you.
Thank you. And it's not me just. No? I have also my business partner.
No, I know, but I understand. But you are, I can see it's all over you, you're interested in helping the Western industry grow here. And that's really good. And thank you for doing Americana. I know how much work that is, how hard that is. And that's, but it also must be very gratifying for you to know that you've been able to help build that thing into something really fabulous.
Yes, I love it. I really love it.
No,
even it's always a time of, it's a big challenge. I love the sport and I love the horses, and to combine it, it's not always easy. But we do our best, and we have fantastic trainers like you are, and also in Europe we have very good trainers as well.
Yeah, I see that. I'm really impressed with the quality of showmanship that I see over here, and the quality of horses.
It grows. Yeah, it's getting better.
Yeah, very much.
Yes. Thank you very much, Pat.
All right. So I like to say, if I don't see you in the future, I'll see you in the pasture, and keep it natural.
Very nice. Thank you very much. Bye.
You've listened to the Americana podcast, a production by Americana Limited.